It is right on 7 o'clock now in Brisbane, 8 o'clock Eastern. It's time for another update with Georgie Garden. Now, Georgie.
Thank you very much for that, Carl. Yeah, the recovery effort continues this morning for thousands of flood-affected residents, and this crisis is far from over. We can tell you that the number of people missing still stands at 55. It has been downgraded from 61 earlier this morning, but there are 55 people still unaccounted for. 15 have died in this disaster. Overnight, there have been evacuations at Gundawindi and surrounding towns there on the Queensland border. That has become the hotspot. Authorities are closely monitoring the McIntyre River, which is due to peak very shortly. Sean White brings us up to date with the latest developments.
The water is going down. The level of danger remains. Yesterday afternoon, this yacht was ripped from its mooring. Two men held on as it powered down the Brisbane River. A hole was torn in the vessel after it smacked into one of the many random objects in the water. Police came to the rescue within minutes.
That footage is a good reminder that these waters are very dangerous. They're moving fast. Underneath some of people's yards, we've still got massive stormwater moving around.
Another problem, alleged looters. 3 people are currently being questioned. There is progress. Water levels are coming down. A drastic change in Rosalie Village. Yesterday and this morning.
We're just sort of going to clean up for the first couple of hours and try and help everyone else in the communities.
The advice, be careful when cleaning up. Wear gloves and protective glasses.
We have had some reports of some volunteers in the Lockyer Valley that have come down with a mystery febrile illness that doctors are working to sort out what it is.
More than 4,000 people are without homes. In both Brisbane and Ipswich, at least 70,000 are without power.
We're making sure that people who are isolated and cut off at the moment are getting the supplies they need.
In regional Queensland, there are still many missing. At first, it was thought an underwater grave sat below this bridge in Grantham, but no one was found. This harrowing video captures the moment disaster hit the town. Chopper pilot Mark Kempton was there, saving lives.
It was devastating to see, and just the most difficult thing I think we've ever had to do. I've never been so emotional in all my 26 years of flying for those people, for the lives lost, and you know, the fact that we couldn't save them all.
In Murphy's Creek, 2 families haven't been seen since the floods hit.
The father and the daughter are gone. I just can't imagine how the mother feels.
We have a company, an emergency company of soldiers that are working in the Lockyer Valley.
Much of the area has been wiped out completely. The state government will bring in demountable homes while locals rebuild their lives. At least 60 schools in the state have been damaged. Sean White, 9 News.
Well, as floodwaters recede, we're seeing more residents, of course, heading back to their homes to see what has left and what has been damaged. So to help them through that process, there are plenty of agencies and we have their details. The information hotline remains open. That's for relatives and friends of those affected. And that number to call is 1300 993 191. A national registration system has also been set up by the Red Cross. That's to help people keep track of any family and friends. And for more details, you can head to their website or you can call 1800 727 077. Now, road conditions in many parts of Queensland and northern New South Wales remain treacherous. If your area has been affected by flooding, it is strongly recommended that you check the conditions on this number, 131940, and there is also a traffic and travel information website you can go to. Now, power. To find out about power failures and when electricity might be restored to your suburb, the best advice is to check the Energex website, and that is info.energex.com.au. They should have all the answers for you there. For more information on health services during the flooding crisis, plenty of people affected health-wise, you can contact Queensland Health 1343 2584. And of course, some small businesses and primary producers have been badly affected by this disaster, and they could in fact be eligible for government assistance. So to see if you qualify, the best advice is to log on to qraa.qld.queensland.gov.au, or you can telephone 1800 623 946. And the Australian Tax Office has offered a reprieve for business owners affected by both the Queensland and New South Wales floods, and their information hotline there is on the screen, 1800 806 218 for more information on that. And of course, plenty of people still wanting to donate. The flood relief appeal number remains open, and that number there on the screen, 1800 219 028. Obviously, plenty of information there, Carl. We will make sure those numbers are available on our website as well, today at 9.com.au, and we will keep repeating all that information on the hour.
Yeah, it's good information, Georgie. People do appreciate it. I've got some information coming in right now that is a little bit disturbing. We heard those reports about looting that is going on. There's a task force that has been set up to stop that, but looting has taken place overnight. More details to come about that, but we think around about 7 people may have been involved with that. Confirmation, as I mentioned, is coming up. Also, we are receiving information. I've got 2 separate sources of information on this, that in the Leichhardt area, someone from our Facebook site has sent in a message, and also an email has just come in saying that in Leichhardt, which is just west of Ipswich, they are charging in some shops $10 for a loaf of bread, $5 for 1 litre of milk, and $50 for cigarettes. I hope that there is good reason for that, but it's pretty hard to imagine how there would be any good reason for overcharging people, no matter how short on supply you are. So that was a little bit disappointing, but to reiterate, a lot of people need help at the moment, but we'll try and pass on the details for the RSPCA and anybody else. If you need a little bit of help, send us an email today at 9.com.au and we'll try and get you that help. Let's take a look at the shots now from the National 9 News chopper. Gee, that's a graphic illustration. Darren Curtis, where are you?
At the moment, Carl, we're over Graceville. Now, this is Nadine Street. It's a riverfront street, normally a nice, quiet little riverfront street in Graceville. This gentleman here, we've just been watching him for the last couple of minutes. He's had to wade in to get to his home. He's walked out the back, and have a look at the filth he is standing in. He's just been walking through slop, just trying to get to his back fence. He doesn't know what to do, this poor fella. He's just standing there. He keeps walking backwards and forwards, scratching his head. He kicks a bit of the mud around and the silt, and he just doesn't know what to do. He walks back in, and then he'll walk back out again in a minute, and he just kicks a bit of the slop around and thinks, where do I start? There was a nice pool there on each side of him. It's now full of river water. Normally he would probably have a nice pontoon out there, a boat tied up. I bet you that boat doesn't belong to that property there. That's come down from somewhere up north, out west. This is the shot of Graceville, Brisbane suburb. What do you do for this bloke here? What do you tell him? Oh, geez, he's found a shovel. Mate, you're going to need more than that, I think, to clean that up.
Well, as you said, Darren, in a situation like that, where do you start? Just awful for that fella and his family, and also the surrounding properties. Thank you for that, Darren. We'll leave it there for the moment. During the course of those shots, we're looking at this information that is flowing at the bottom of the screen there in Victoria. Flash flooding in North Grampians. We know that there have been several evacuation points in several towns across Victoria. It has been pouring down, lots of flash flooding, and also in Tasmania. We'll update you on the situation there in a moment. Let's hope you don't face anything like what is happening with those shots in Queensland. Also, a flood emergency is happening in Gundawindi this morning with the McIntyre River. This is about 358 k's due west and southwest of Brisbane, about 358 k's away from Brizzy. We know that the McIntyre River has risen to record levels, and it is surrounding the town, certainly surrounding the levee that was built in the late 1950s. At the moment, we're going to get an update with Graham Shire, who's the Mayor of Gundawindi. Graham, good morning to you. Can you give us some information on how or where things are at? We've been talking to you during